Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. This is very amazing game and I have very amazing game in my hand. This is the round 1 and this game is between Van Forest and Jordan Van Forest and Fedoseev. So Jordan is playing with white pieces and Fedoseev black pieces. Be sure to watch this video. This would be just very instructive game for you guys. So be sure to watch to the end. And so let's see actually what happens in this game. Be sure actually to just give the thumbs up, like this video, and please make sure that you have subbed to the channel. That would just be very encouraging. So let's jump into the game, why not? So as I just told you, actually Jordan is playing with white pieces and Fedoseev with black pieces here. We see 45, so knight to f3, knight to f6, and here is, as I just didn't say, actually it's just the Petrov opening, okay? e4, e5, knight to f3, sorry, knight to f3, knight to f6. This is just Petrov, instead of playing the knight to c6 and then Italian or Spanish, okay? Spanish, bishop to b5, Italian, bishop to c4. Here, actually Fedoseev decides to go for the Petrov Defense here. And here take, and as you know, you cannot take it immediately because of queen to e2. If you blunder this, then knight to c6 just means queen in the very early game. So that's why after knight takes on e5, you play knight d6, and then after knight to f3, no, you can't take it, okay? Also remembering Yanan that made the blunder, but after his opponent played knight c3, he played here, and now he was lost in 5 moves. You cannot play this because of this, and everything is saying this is coming, and everything is just collapsing for black here. So, but here we have bishop to d3, and you can, if you play this again, queen to e2, so if you try this, then you are also in the same trouble as Anand did. Okay, so that's why bishop to f5 is not possible in this position, guys. So here we see knight to g5, and after castles, d5 was decided to play by Fedoseev, and here we see rook to e1, knight coming back to e6. Instead of knight to e6, he could actually play bishop to e6 was possible here, but okay, no problem with that. Knight to e6, we see c4, so instead of c4, bishop to f1 was better move, but bishop f1 with the idea of, sorry, bishop to f1 with the idea of d4, okay? So I get back, and now I'm just ready to play the move d4 here. But c4 was played, and d4 by Fedoseev, the right move, and bishop to f5 was actually a better move, okay, for Van Forest. So now the threat is to take here and actually, for example, if you play something like this, then I just take, you can't actually play this because of this knight to e5, and everything is just going to get collapsed. So that's why actually bishop to f5 was better idea if Van Forest played it, but he didn't. Queen to c2 instead of c, and now here g6, so there is no bishop f5 anymore, guys. And now we are just going to develop this way and just castle or king to the safety. Bishop g7, and here, as I just said, they Fedoseev just castle. we have d3, and now after knight to c6 played a3, so preventing any knight threats here, and maybe in future we want to push. And here Fedoseev makes his first mistake by playing knight takes c5, and actually Fedoseev had a nice advantage here. He could have played a5, preventing the move b4. So here by playing a3, we just want to prevent any knight to b4, and now we are just threatening the move b4. So Fedoseev actually could play the move a5 to actually prevent any b4 move. Okay, so but instead played knight takes on c5. We see bishop to g5, great move by developing and also threatening the queen here. We see queen to d6. And now here we see knight to d2, bishop to f5, so now b4 is played, and after knight to e6 we are just threatening to take the bishop, so white loses his bishop pair, so he has to be careful and plays bishop to h4. And here we see a extra blunder from Fedoseev playing rook a to c8. He could have played the move rook a to e8, controlling this open file in future, okay? But he was afraid of defending this pawn, for example, putting pressure on this pawn, so that's why he decided to play rook a to c8. I believe this was the idea. But rook a to e8 was better, and why a to c8 is wrong? Because of this knight to e4 after bishop takes on e4, rook takes on e4. You have to notice that here we can't take this, okay, because of this d3, and now everything is just, for example, if you take, and I can just take this, and notice that, guys, that this bishop is absolutely dead. It is not active, okay? If you play here, for example, then I can play here to even simplify the game and win the game by open exchange. So that's why actually taking on a1 is possible. In some positions, taking on a1 even the rook is there is not possible because of this. Maybe queen can penetrate, then it is just mate, okay? So you have to notice to this note here. So, but in this position, taking on a1 is possible, so that's why taking with the pawn on e4 with the pawn is actually a wrong move, blunder. You have to take with the rook. That's what actually happened in this game. Rook takes on e4 was played. We see knight c to d8 after rook a to e1. So actually Foreest and Jordan has this game on this hand. He has nice piece activity here, bishop played and rook activity, and rook at black pieces, they are not active very much here. And also this is just putting pressure on the center pawn on d4. But here we see knight to e5, and that's why knight to e5 was not a good move. He could actually put more pressure on this diagonal by playing queen to a2. After queen to a2, king to h8, then now we play knight to e5, after f5, bishop to g3, completely giving the exchange temporary. You can't take this because of this knight check, and after that takes here. We reach this position, which is actually completely better for black, okay, for white, okay, sorry. But actually in the game queen to a2 was not played. Instead we see knight to e5, bishop takes on e5, correct move, rook takes on e5. And actually let's actually brave and accept this, that bishop takes on e5 was completely challenging move to find, because you're just giving this fianchetto's bishop here. But actually, white has the threat of knight takes on f7, because, for example, if you play something like this, okay, then knight takes f7 is possible. And if you take, for example, this to defend, but here we see bishop takes on d8, and now we just win, okay? If you play this, then I just take this, take, and white is completely better, but as can take this way, okay? That's why actually Fedoseev decided to give this bishop for this knight here, because we had the threat of knight takes on f7, the tactic. Rook takes on e5, and here rook to e8, queen to a2, now played by Van Forest, nice move, putting pressure on this diagonal here. We see queen to g7, and after bishop to b3, instead of bishop to b3, could have actually gone bishop to g3. Okay, and reach the attack against this queen. Now the threat is just to take here, okay, of course. But after queen to d7, we could play the move f4, and now we are threatening f5 and open the position with these nice bishops here. It's, especially this bishop is just very dangerous, okay. The game was actually over, but instead he plays bishop to b3. I don't know, maybe he was afraid of the move b5, I believe. But why didn't he play b5 himself? Yeah, after takes, rotates b5, then c6. Yeah, Brad seems to get fine with this position after, for example, this. Then now he plays b5. Yeah, I agree. And now this pawn is under attack and he cannot defend this. So that's why he was afraid of the move b5. So he himself played the bishop to b3 to get away with that. Bishop to b3, as I just told you, was played, and after knight to c6, he could also play bishop to g3. You can't take, because I just take, and now I'm just attacking the queen and the king. This was just completely lost. But instead he played a simpler move, easier move, rook 5 to e4. After queen to d7, we see queen to e2. Now we are just putting more pressure on this, so you can not raise move your knight, okay, because your rook on e8 would be hanging. And so that's why it's instead of queen to e2, he could have played the move king to f1. Was very difficult to understand why. Actually, this is the best move in this position, but I think maybe by just adding extra defender to this rook and also maintaining queen on this diagonal here. Okay, or maybe black is also in a zugzwang you can consider. If you play some after this, I see that king f1 was is that after, for example, this, we have bishop to f6 idea now. Okay, after you take rook to f4, is winning, because if you try to take, then your rook was undefended on e1. Now it is not defended by the king, so you can easily play bishop to f6 with the idea. Very nice idea, actually. It was bishop f6 takes here, but this idea when the king was on g1 was not possible. Okay, if you play this, not to f8, if you play this, king takes f6, and here, and king to g7, here, now queen takes f7, now this and this position here. Now, even actually, black is a little better, because he has a nice activity here. Okay. So that's why actually king to f1 was the move that he could have actually played. It is very difficult to find. I just confess about this. Queen to e2. Now it's and now queen to f3 to g5. Queen to f3 was another mistake. Instead he could play bishop to g3 and now play the move h4, h5, what his actual plan in future. But okay, queen to f3, and now the game is completely equal. Knight to g5, nice move, and very deep understanding that it is good to actually make this double pawn here. But we have to say that he also omitted one of the strongest bishop on h4, okay? So it was worse. So it actually worse that it was, yeah, to omit this strong bishop here on h4 and actually lead to this double pawn on g. So this pawn structure looks a little awkward, but you know that the bishop on h4 was actually very strong, so it was worse. So we see h3, and here rook takes, queen takes, and here we see rook penetration. So he wants to maybe go here, okay? We see bishop to a4, rook to h4, yeah, and as I just told you, it was played in the game, so rook to h8, rook to h4. So we see queen to e2, and after the move b5, bishop to b3, rook to f4. Now black got its activity very well, and now brought his rook from to here, and now putting pressure on this, defending this pawn, and also defending the pawn on f7, so queen can raid whenever he wants, and maybe in future we are just planning to play the move g4. Rook to c1 was played, and here after queen to e6, queen to d6, we see rook to c5, and here rook to f5, queen to e8. Instead of queen to e8, rook to f5 was better, but queen to e8, no problem. Knight to d8 was blunder. Now instead of knight to d8, you could have played knight to e5. Now we are just threatening the move c6, and now I believe that everything will be just for example, why taking on here is not a serious threat. For example, if you play this, okay, if you play this, then rook takes f5, he takes on f5, queen takes on f7 is possible. Yeah, I just confess. Rook takes f5, then queen takes on f7 was possible, so that's not actually taking on d3 is not a serious threat here. But let's go back knight to d8, After the move g3, c6, now queen to g2, queen c7, queen to e4, rook takes. After queen to d7, queen check, pushing the pawn. At this position, this is just completely rubbish position here. A3 after king to g1, okay. If you tried something like this, then your king is also in trouble and you also lose this game. So you cannot play knight to d5 to penetrate yourself, okay. So queen takes c5 was possible, but here at this position they did the draw because this pawn is also a corner and this would be draw, simply draw. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give the thumbs up, like this video and sub to the channel. That would just give me a lot of energy to put more interesting videos on the channel. So see you next time soon. Bye for now.